Well, we're just going to get started in one more minute. I'll give them until 10:01 or so. Hopefully everybody has found the link fine, and we look forward to having this opportunity to talk about our program with all of you. My name is John Putman. I'm the Director of the International Business Program at San Diego State University. I'll talk a little bit about what our plans are for this workshop, but we're going to make sure we have opportunities to hear from you too, any questions you may have. So if you have any questions, think about them. I'll talk about the chat feature in just a minute if you wanted to type them in, or at the end we can allow you to ask them by voice, of course, also. Looks like we're up to about 20 or 25 participants now. So as people are coming in, first of all, we hope everybody is well. This is not the way we wanted to do, of course, our Explore SDSU. And in fact, today it was actually raining anyway, so it's probably good that we're doing it virtually, at least for now, here in San Diego. It's my honor to welcome all of you to the 2020 Explore SDSU Virtual International Business Workshop. And our plan here is to allow the students or prospective students, or if you're an admitted student, to learn a little bit more about our program and help you make an informed decision. I know many of you may not have yet chosen which university you're going to attend. Some of you may have and just want to know a little bit more information, and we're going to try to give you all the information that we can as best we can. First of all, we want to have the opportunity here to talk to you a little bit about why we think our major is so unique and why we think it is so successful. And hopefully at the end, you'll get a real good sense when you're comparing to other universities. So let me explain real briefly how the workshop's going to work. Just a few logistics. As I said, I've muted everybody as they enter, so we don't have the usual barking dog, overly enthusiastic children who come running into the room or something like that, particularly as we get 30, 40, 50 people on a Zoom meeting. And a lot of us have just learned to use Zoom a little bit more than ever before, and it is a learning curve. So we'll have opportunities later for you to ask questions, as I said. But again, we hope by the end of this, you'll learn a lot about the curriculum or the courses that make up the IB major. You're going to learn about the study abroad requirement, and as well as the internship requirement, and some of the career opportunities. And at the end, as I said, we will have plenty of time for some question and answer. Now, if you happen to think of a question during the presentation, feel free to use Zoom's chat feature. If you're using your PC, your Mac, you can scroll down to the bottom and then will come a little menu, click on chat, and you can type in your questions there. I'll monitor it as we go along, but we'll answer those questions at the end. We'll start with those. And then at the end, as I said, we'll have an opportunity to people to ask their questions out loud if they so wish to. All right, so I think we're ready. So why don't we get started? First of all, just to let you know a little bit about what you can expect. One thing about students are going to get at San Diego State University in our international business program is a lot of attention. We have 3 full-time professional advisors who will work with students from their beginning, arriving on campus, and even through orientation before, all the way up through graduation. You're going to hear from all 3 of them a little bit later in this presentation. Maribel Franco, she's our study abroad advisor. She's waving right there. David Toe is the academic advisor. And Maricela Plant is the internship and career advisor. Holding our office together and the glue of it, of course, is our administrative coordinator, Jessica Lopez, who couldn't be here today. So let me tell you a little bit about our program overview, at least, give you a little sense about us. As hopefully you do know, we are ranked 11th in the nation overall by U.S. News and World Report, and 5th among public universities. And we think that is a reflection of how the program has been designed, the major has been designed, and the kinds of requirements that we have. And we're going to explain those as we go along. Another thing about us is we have a real strong emphasis on the international experience. And because of that, we have established more than 30 study abroad partnerships across the world, many with some of the best business schools in their respective countries. And you're going to hear a lot more about study abroad and the semester abroad experience and some of the requirements and some of the opportunities it provides from Maribel in a few minutes. But again, these programs allow us to have a strong connection with universities from around the country. A couple other things that we've tried to do in the last few years to enhance the student's experience beyond the study abroad and the internship, which is using some extracurricular activities. For example, for the last 3 years, San Diego State University has hosted an international business case competition. This is a fantastic opportunity for students. It's in teams of 4. We invite teams from around the country from some of the top international business programs. They come to San Diego State, and over 2.5 days, they're involved in this competition. And what they do is they're given a problem to solve or to come up with a solution or proposal for. It has something to do with the global economy or global business. And they then come on the morning of Saturday of that weekend, and they present, their team presents to a group of business leaders their solution. There's also some question and answer by the business leaders. We spread them out into 4 different rooms, and then the winners of each of those rooms return in the afternoon to present to a new group of leaders, and this is open to the public. And so we think that this opportunity, and we're one of the only 3 or 4 that host one of these in the country, and it not only gives our team an extra competition to participate in, but because the finals are open, it allows all their majors to watch firsthand how teams handle themselves, the kinds of solutions they deal with, the kind of question and answer. I mean, it's a setup as though you were pitching something to your corporate leaders. And so it's a great opportunity for everyone. We also have begun to start company site visits. Maricela sets those up, where she takes small groups of students to regional or local companies. They're able to network with some of the company leaders, to learn about the industry that that company's involved in, whether it's biotech or export-import. And they learn a lot more about how business works. And we think this is a great chance for students to get a bit of a taste of business, particularly if they do it before even their internship. They'll even feel much more comfortable when they go off to their internship. And of course, we have the other kinds of usual extracurricular activities, speakers on campus, other kinds of panels and platforms. And we'll hear a little bit about that a little bit later. Finally, I want to let students know, of course, one of the things we really emphasize is students getting engaged on campus. And one way to do that is join a student organization. Now, of course, the campus has more than 300 student organizations, but in particular, there are more than 20 just set aside for business students or those interested in business. We have our own International Business Student Society. We also have 20 other business student organizations located in the Fowler College of Business. And there, students can do things, join clubs like focused on marketing, entrepreneurship, or sustainability. Any interest they have, there's probably a club there for. All right, so I'll give you the quick overview. Of course, if you have any questions about this, we'll talk about it at the end. But I now want to turn it over to David Toe, who's going to talk to you a little bit about the academic requirements. Oops, let me unmute David. I'm going to have to go back.
Thank you, John. Good morning, everyone. I'm hearing audio.
Yeah, I'm going to mute everybody again. Hold on a second.
Oh, but he's muted. So now he can't hear him.
Okay, hold on a second. Got to find David's name here so I can unmute him. Oh, there he is.
For the IB major.
Sorry about that, David. Go ahead.
Yeah, not a problem. So I'll be the one that you're working with to create your study plans and to help out pick classes, and I'll make sure that you're basically staying on track and keeping up with your goals. So I do want to cover the curriculum today. So as you've seen in the last slide, we're a really high-ranked program, and a big part of that is because we're such a robust program. Here at SDSU, you can be a business major, you can be a language major, or you can be a regional cultural major. But with the IB program, we actually take all 3 of those and create our interdisciplinary major. So you'll be taking courses from those 3 sections. In addition to that, we also require a semester abroad, and we require an internship. There are some majors that require one or the other. We require both. And then we also have 11 languages in 6 regions that you can choose from. And those I will go over in a later slide. All right, so we'll start with the business courses. So you'll be taking courses from the Fowler College of Business. They are AACSB accredited, which is the gold standard for business schools. So you know that you'll be taking courses from strong faculty. So here are a list of some of the courses that you'll be taking. You'll have some supply chain management, international finance, international business strategy, global marketing, management, ethics, and global environment. In addition to the business courses, you'll get a good foundation through each area. You'll also get to choose a business focus. So we can pull those up. All right, so there are 6 focus options that you can choose from. As you can see here, there's economics, entrepreneurship, finance, management, MIS, and marketing. So you'll get to decide on one area, and whichever one you choose, those are the courses that you'll be taking in your senior year to specialize. Okay, so as I mentioned before, we have several languages and regions that you can choose from. There's several ways to go about doing this. So we want you to really think about more so your career, where you want to work and what you want to do. I know it's tempting to maybe choose the one that probably seems really fun to study abroad, but really think about your career options. Another thing we want you to think about, I know a lot of you might be really strong or proficient in another language already, let's say Spanish, French, or Korean, and your natural instinct is to pick that option. But we do want to emphasize that our program is designed for you to start a language from scratch. So you'll be taking the 101 all the way through senior year. So really consider maybe adding a 3rd or 4th language to what you're already strong at when you're making that decision. We also have a unique English in North America track, and this is specific for our international students since they are technically already studying abroad. They'll be on that track, and you'll be working with those students as well. Okay, on the next slide, we're going to go over, this is just kind of an overview of your 4-year plan here in the IB program. So your first 2 years, you'll be working on your pre-major courses. These are the courses designed to get you ready for the upper division business courses. You'll have some stats for business. You'll have 2 econ classes, information systems. You'll have financial accounting, managerial accounting, and legal environment of business. This is also when you'll be taking your first 2 years of language. If you have advanced proficiency, it is possible for you to skip the 100 or 200 level and go into the upper division. After your first 2 years and you've met our impaction criteria, that means you've passed all our pre-major courses with a C or better and you've maintained a 2.9, you'd be allowed to start the upper division major. So in year 3, this is when you're taking a lot of those foundational business courses. You'll have some finance, management, marketing, ethics, supply chain, and the global environment course. This is also when you're taking your 3rd upper division language courses. So before we send you abroad, we do want you to finish at least 2 upper division language courses, which you'll be doing in the 3rd year. In your 4th year, this is when you will most likely go abroad. So most students will be going abroad the 2nd to last semester. So you'll go abroad after you've got the foundational business courses, you've got 3 years of language, and then you'll go abroad and basically take your finance courses and take some extra regional courses. And then when you come back, you'll wrap it all up with global marketing, international finance, and then our strategies course. And that basically is a very broad outline of our 4-year plan. Right now, Maribel will actually go into more detail about all the semester abroad options, and then that can kind of give you more information on that.
Hi, everyone. If for students looking to study abroad to meet the semester abroad requirement, they will be working with me throughout that experience. So the semester abroad requirement is a key requirement in which students will spend a semester abroad in their target language and region of emphasis. We offer 2 different options. So with option 1, students can participate on a study abroad program. These are semester-long exchange programs. And we have developed these partnerships directly with top universities and business schools worldwide to facilitate this experience for our students. One of the key differences with our study abroad programs is that these are highly immersive experiences. The majority of our students will actually be taking business courses in the target language along with local business students abroad. In terms of cost, students generally study abroad at SDSU tuition rate, so these are generally very affordable. Students will also need to factor the cost of living abroad and the cost of getting abroad, such as airfare and visa cost. In terms of financial aid, the nice thing is that financial aid is pre-approved for exchange programs, so loans, grants, and scholarships can be applied towards the study abroad experience. With option 2, doing an international internship, this internship needs to be done in the target language and region of emphasis. So for example, if students choose German and Western Europe, then it would be an internship in Germany. Students do need to complete a business-related internship. They do have to complete an additional amount of hours. Scholarships can be applied towards internships abroad. However, financial aid cannot be applied, as usually this is a 3-unit course only, and financial aid requires 12 units of enrollment abroad. And then lastly, in terms of when students go abroad, I know you're thinking, with everything going on in the world, how is it possible? Yes, our current year programs have been impacted. However, for this incoming class, the earliest you would be going abroad is in about 2 to 4 years. 2 years for transfer students, and in about 4 years for students coming in as freshmen. We hope that by the time that this incoming class has to go abroad, this will no longer be an issue. We will require everyone to apply to go abroad a full year in advance. And this is not only to check on prerequisites for going abroad, but also to make sure everyone has a budget laid out. Everyone knows what classes they need to save for abroad, and just to offer any support. So we're here to support students before, during, and after that semester abroad experience. And next, I'm going to pass it on to Maricela. She can go over the internship requirement in a bit more detail, and I look forward to meeting everyone eventually.
Requirements that some of the other advisors have mentioned is the internship requirement. This is a senior year experience. The reason for that is that we see students have more success being hired by their internship employer, or at least making a connection that leads to an internship if the internship is conducted in that last semester and senior year. We do, however, encourage students to complete more than one internship to make sure that they have a well-rounded resume and gain that professional experience that's so critical during their degree. The internship is completed while concurrently enrolled in our IB 495 class, International Business Internships. It's a 3-unit credit, no credit class. And we do have a list of company partners that students have access to be able to find an internship. And then in order to help students prepare, we offer resume help, interviewing techniques. Oops, a little too soon. Thanks, John. Networking help, and any other career resources that they need. And then also we make sure that students are aware of all the activities that are on campus for networking, meeting with professionals, business lectures, company site visits, the companies that are on campus, site visits we might do off campus. And we do that through our social media. We have a weekly announcement that we send out to the international business students specifically. And then we have our calendar also, where we put all our events going on for those weeks. And then you can see there are a few of those logos of some of our partners. So one of the questions that we get most often is kind of, what are our alumni actually doing? I think one of the first things to highlight is some of the skills that they're gaining. And this is coming from the alumni themselves, what they say, the top skills that they have: management, marketing, leadership skills, sales skills, customer service skills that they are graduating with. Thank you. And then as far as careers, I'm sure this is something that you're all curious about. These are some of the top areas that we see our alumni working in. So sales and marketing, operations, business development, finance, entrepreneurship, and so on. And then just to give you some examples of what kind of jobs are these alumni actually doing. So for example, you can see Pokemon logo there. We have an alumni doing business development and licensing in Tokyo. Revlon, we have a alumni doing international account management. And then PlayStation, for example, there is an alumni doing global program management. So give you some ideas of some of the types of jobs that that alumni are actually doing. Now, that's not to say that there isn't other areas, but what we see is that international professionals have many industries that they can choose from. We see them working at multinational corporations, banks, foreign companies, government is popular, and so many more. So there's really unlimited things that you can do with the degree. And then one of the ways, or several ways that we connect with our alumni is we do have a LinkedIn group that is specifically just for alumni and current students. So it helps our current students connect with our alumni. We post jobs, internships, conversations about what events that are going on, things that alumni are doing. So it gives students a direct connection to our alumni. There's also an Aztec Mentor program on campus where students can sign up in their junior and senior years. And they can do this every semester and connect with a different alumni every semester. So it gives them a lot of ways to network, a lot of networking events that are happening on campus also for alumni. And then one of, I think, the most popular ways that we do connect with our alumni is that a lot of our alumni are offering internships and jobs directly to international business. So we definitely make sure that students, especially those that are ready for graduation, know about those. And I'll go ahead and pass it on to John for our Q&A.
All right, so let me make sure I'm unmuted. Yes. All right, so it's time for a little bit of question and answer. Just to let you know, Zoom does have this little feature. You can raise your hand. So if you go down to the bottom of your screen, there's a little tab called Manage Participants. And if you click on it, you'll see all the participants, a list of all of us. And there should be on the bottom area of that particular dialog box a little hand raising feature. And it allows you to kind of raise your hand so that I can call on you, and then you can unmute you so you can ask your question. We'll try that first, and if that doesn't work, then we will just unmute everybody and we'll just have a free-for-all if necessary. So if anybody would like to ask a question, please do. Please raise your hand if you can. Didn't see anything. Oh, somebody's got to have it. Oh, here is a question from the chat. When does a student declare the international business major? Get David up here to take care of that.
So you can come in as an international business major. If you are not, during the first semester, we actually allow you to switch into the pre-IB major after you attend an academic workshop. So most students will be pre-majors for the first 2 years. And once you finish those pre-major courses, that's when you declare into the upper division major, which usually happens during your junior year.
All right, great. Let me answer another question, and we'll go to the voice one. Second question is, as an incoming IB transfer student with only 2 semesters of language completed, what can I expect as far as courses I'm able to take? All other prerequisites have been completed. So, and this is a student who's a transfer student. So.
All right, so for the incoming transfer student, so this is not uncommon. So as long as you have all your business courses, the pre-major courses, you can start taking your upper division business courses while you finish up your second year of language. We do allow exceptions if you're missing no more than 2 courses. So in this case, you would be able to take those 2 language courses while you're working on your upper division business classes.
All right, so why don't we go to one of the voice ones. Let me unmute here. It's Valerie, it looks like.
Yes, hello?
Yes, please ask your question.
Okay, so I was wondering if I could do study abroad in the summer and then let it lead into the fall, I guess, if that makes sense. So I could get more than 1 semester.
Maribel will answer that one.
It depends on the language and region you're looking at, because with the semester long option, you need a student visa. We have to make sure that you have your student visa before going abroad in summer. So sometimes going abroad in summer first can be a little complicated. Summer, you can usually use your tourist visa, so you don't really need to apply for anything ahead of time. But for the semester long, usually you're applying for your visa in that summer term. So, it just depends on which country. So do let us know as soon as you enter the major so we can make sure that works. But I can tell you in some cases it may work if the country you're going to allows you to not have a visa or to apply for a visa early.
Okay. And how would we let you know? Like once we're on campus, we just go to your office?
Yeah, so as soon as you're starting to plan for abroad, David will ask you to come to one of our workshops and to meet with me when it's time to start looking at your study abroad experience.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you,
Okay, you're
Valerie.
welcome.
All right, back to the Zoom chat. I'll come back to the other ones in just a second. Somebody asked, is it usual to study abroad for a semester, or can you study abroad for a whole year?
I would say vast majority of students go for the semester, but we do have, a handful that go for a full year, especially in the Japanese track because of academic calendar differences. We, always try to encourage, a bit longer abroad if it works with your plan and if it doesn't delay graduation. So it is possible to go for a full year. We just want to plan ahead for it. It's not something that we can grant once you're already abroad, and we just want to make sure we have enough courses for students to take for a full year. But it's definitely possible and definitely encouraged.
Okay, I'm going to do one more from the chat before I come back to the hand raising, because it's another study abroad question. Christina asked, if studying abroad and completing an internship are both requirements, can we do them abroad?
So there are some study abroad programs that are designated as both study and internship programs. These are limited though. We don't have them in every language and region. So right now we have, for example, a program in Chile, a program in Japan, a program in Spain as well. But we don't have many that combine both. Some students may be able to add on an internship while they're abroad as well. So they'll be working with both myself, but also Marisela for the internship portion. Do you want to add anything else, Marisela, to that?
No, I think what you just mentioned is most common for students doing a study abroad in spring and then would stay and do an internship abroad in summer. So that's usually where we see that happen a little bit more. But no, that's good.
All right, how about John? You want to ask a question?
I have two questions.
Sure.
The first is about testing out of languages. When is testing out of a language possible? And then the second question is about, are we limited to senior year for study abroad opportunities?
All right, so let me ask the first question. We'll go to David about the languages.
Yeah, I can answer that. So each language department handles proficiency differently. So you would just have to reach out to the department in which you're interested in. So for example, if you were thinking about doing Japanese, then reach out to the Japanese department to find out how they determine where you're placed. So a lot of times instructors will let you sign up for say second year or third year without having the prerequisite, and then they'll check the first day where your proficiency level is at. But to be safe, I would reach out to the language department first to see what their process is for determining your level of proficiency.
Okay, thank you.
And I'll add that if the student has taken some AP test or completed high school, that also will not necessarily test out, but we'll count some of those toward some of the courses you will be able to skip. And that will be determined when the transcripts come in. And I believe the second question was about study abroad, Marbell?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it limited to senior year only, or?
Well, the way it's laid out, it's first semester of senior year. However, if the students are more advanced in either business or language, that could be sooner. So we just have a set of classes that need to be done before going abroad. So, all of the introductory upper division business courses and at least 2 upper division language classes. So, with some of the we see that they're ahead in either language or business. So that could be earlier. We do encourage students also to, if they want to go abroad earlier, to maybe do a faculty-led study abroad program, because those are more of a package option, and it's a good practice for the semester-long exchange where students will be enrolled in a much more immersive study abroad experience. So there are more ways to go abroad sooner. However, with the semester-long exchange, because of the courses that have to be done abroad, usually students have to complete a set of prerequisites first before going.
All right. Thank you. Okay, we're going to go back to the other question. We'll come back to the participants in just a minute here. All right, so my son has been accepted to the Fowler School of Business. Can he instead accept and enter the IB program? Sounds like a David question.
Yes. So he will be able to switch once he arrives here. So during orientation, just make sure that you are planning your courses in a way that'll cover the pre-IB. Mainly for IB, it would be the language that's different from Fowler. And then once fall semester starts, you can come into our office, attend a workshop, and then do the major change. So you can do that at any time, really. If you meet the impaction criteria and you hit all of our classes, you can still switch into IB.
So if you're during orientation, if you make that clear to the Fowler School College of Business, then we can even at least get you advised to take the right classes and then just handle the paperwork a little bit later. All right, another question from the chat, and then I'll come back to Irma in a second. If you're an, oh, excuse me, I'm an international transfer student with an emphasis in North America. Do I have to study abroad? Maribel?
Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm an international transfer student with an emphasis in North America. Do I have to study abroad?
Well, for the English in North America, you don't have to study abroad. For French in North America, you do have to study abroad. So I just want to make sure I catch the language correctly.
Right, yeah. Because if you're an international student doing the English track in North America, being here for 4 years is your study abroad. So that's how we count that. Another one that has to deal with being out of state in that, and then I'll come to Irma. If you're an out-of-state student, how easy is it for me to get an internship from across the country?
So it just depends. So I mentioned a list of companies that we have. Obviously, those are local companies in San Diego. So if a student is out of state and trying to apply while they're, say, over the summer to set up a fall, I can work with them virtually to make sure that they're doing that. If a student wants to do their internship in their home state, obviously I don't have a list of partners in every state, but I can help them with their resume, make sure they're ready to start interviewing, and give them some ideas of where to look for internships in their home state. And we definitely allow students to, a lot of our students will go home for summer and do their internships over summer at home. That's definitely doable. And they just start working with me, usually a semester, I say more if possible, to start planning that.
All right, thanks. All right, Irma.
Hi, good morning. I had a question about the courses in the fall with everything going on. I know there will be new guidelines and standards for large crowds.
Mm-hmm.
How do you foresee this affecting our courses in person?
That is yet to be determined, I'll be honest. The university is still making its decisions about what we call the different kind of modalities, how courses will be delivered. And so whether that is, everybody together or spreading out rooms, doing some hybrids where you're partly online and partly in splitting the class up into different groups, having them meet 2 different days, for example, split them into 2 different days so there's not as many people in a classroom. This is still be determined, just like everything is. We're still waiting to figure out what the future will be, but this will probably be determined in the next few weeks, what they're going to do. But I will let you know the university technically is not closed. It remains open. We're doing courses right now. We'll be doing courses over the summer online. Student services are still being offered to students though it's maybe virtually. But I don't think many universities have figured this out yet. We're all trying to kind of get a sense of how things are going to work, but there is a team working on that. I will let you know.
Okay, thank you so much. And then also real quick, I know that I believe the course catalog already came out for students already enrolled in SDSU to start planning their fall semesters.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a limited capacity for the classes, how will incoming students be affected by that?
Well, they will figure out how to make enough class space for everybody, whether it's virtual, online meeting, or as I said, a combination of thereof. So they are planning for a regular size class coming in, and so there'll be a lot of changes as we go along. We're trying to figure out what our obviously what our enrollments will be, but they will figure that out for students. Obviously, they know we have a large freshman class coming in, and they have to have the space for them. So yeah, don't worry, there'll be space. Whether again it is an actual physical classroom or not, that is still yet to be determined.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, let's go back to the other questions. Let's see. How many study abroad programs are we limited to?
There's no limit. There's no limit. However, we just want to make sure that the study abroad program, if you're looking to get credit, that it fits the major. So different types of study abroad programs may fit better at a certain time. So for example, like the faculty-led programs, these are SDSU courses taught abroad. So those are easy extra study abroad programs to fit into the curriculum. The semester-long ones are a bit more difficult just because there's a lot more courses and there's a lot more planning involved. And because we're interdisciplinary, either you're doing business, language, or culture classes abroad, and there's only limited language and culture classes to do. And some of those are saved for your IB semester abroad experience. So it's just, as long as you're flexible with the type of experience, we can guide you and let you know which programs may fit better. There's, you can do faculty-led, you can do even your internship requirement abroad. So there's different ways to go abroad longer, and we definitely always work with students if they're seeking to go abroad more than once.
Yeah, thank you. All right, we have another question here. Do people in the IB program normally double major? David?
Yeah, so it is possible to double major. You cannot double major in business or language because there's too much overlap. However, you can do a minor in those areas. So you can do like a minor in finance, minor in management, marketing, or a minor in Spanish. In terms of double majoring, so as long as it's not one of the majors that's included in our interdisciplinary major, you can do it. So some common ones that I usually see is like psychology. We'll have a student major in IB, Spanish, Western Europe, and get a double major in psychology or something like that.
Yeah, so it's possible. Just remember, of course, that anytime you add a major, you're adding the length of your stay at San Diego State, because there's a lot of different courses you're going to have to take. So it's something that if you're not sure of, I would wait till you get here to kind of talk to David about what that might mean for your graduation date too. So just to keep that in mind. All right, let's see. We got next one here. When is it expected that a decision on orientation will come out with the current situation? Orientation is going to take place. It will be virtual. It will not be on campus. That's already been decided. Pretty much all large gatherings in the summer have been postponed or canceled in San Diego. Comic-Con, our great celebration, which almost always takes place right around orientation, by the way, it has been canceled. So, but there will be a virtual orientation. And so at that orientation, there'll be various things that you'll be able to do through Zoom and other kind of features. Usually by the end of that orientation day, you will then come and meet with us virtually in a smaller group, maybe 10 or 15 students. We will go over a little bit more about preparation for the fall. And then what we plan to do, of course, is each of you then would meet individually with one of the 3 advisors to set up your fall schedule. And usually the way orientation works, after orientation is done, you can then immediately register for those classes. So there will be orientation. It's just going to be done differently, of course, this semester or this year. Let's see, next question. Says, oh, but MyMap. Somebody's actually found MyMap already. All right, we can use MyMap major academic plan for accurately planning our courses, correct? We finished the second question, David, you picked this up. And are the classes generally competitive to get as a freshman? Let's say a first-year Japanese class or econ class. Well, the first question is about using MyMap.
Yeah, so the MyMap is a very general template in a very ideal situation. Whereas when you come meet with me, I create a study plan that's more individualized. So a lot of times if you have AP units, transfer credit, or if you're skipping languages, the mind map's not gonna automatically pick that up and adjust it in the correct way. So that's when you come and see me. So use the mind map carefully. It's mostly just a broad outline to see how everything can fit, but it's gonna be different for your circumstances. In terms of classes being competitive, you're gonna be fine. You'll get exactly what you need. The only time competition really comes in is like you might not get the ideal time or the ideal instructor every time you schedule. But you should be able to get all the classes that you need. We've never had that problem. And then especially with the language courses, usually you'll find seats in those too.
Right. So yeah, so we'll, the way things work again, we'll, as we are registering right now, our students are registering, our current students are registering for the fall. And so when that is done at the end of the month, the university has a better sense then of what classes need to be offered and, or expanded in size to get ready for the freshmen and the transfer students who will register later this summer. So there'll be plenty of time for them to set up new classes, to expand the classes, to make sure they're available for you. All right, so when can we contact David? I'm a transfer student and wanted to take summer classes.
Yeah, so I typed a response in the chat box. So if you want to get in touch with me, just email ib@sdsu.edu and then they will connect you with me.
All right. I didn't even notice I almost asked that question, David. It's there. All right. Does being in Weber's College, Honors College, affect priority in classes or anything like that? I guess, David, you want that one? Or
I'm not 100%. So double check with your honors advisor. I'm pretty sure they get some kind of priority, but I'm not 100% on that one.
Marbella, Marcella, do you have any insight?
No, I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure they do. They get priority. I know that there are special classes set aside for them.
Right.
That only for honors classes, only honor students. They could be like an econ class. It doesn't mean every class is going to have an honors version of it, but there are honors versions of some classes that are much smaller and only exclusive to the honor students. We know that for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
I do know that the Weber's Honors College, you have a international requirement, and what you do with us internationally they will count it. So you don't need to do anything extra for Weber's. Whatever you do for us will count for your Weber's international requirement.
Mhm.
All right, another question about the Weber's College. Basically, does Weber's College give any benefits in international business specifically?
Yeah,
Not
the main
necessarily.
one would be what Maricela just mentioned. So the Weber's does require an abroad experience, and the one that you do for us will basically count for that one as well.
Okay, very good. All right, when exactly is orientation? Orientation is usually scheduled for freshmen beginning in mid-July. After intent to enroll, which is when you make it clear that you want to come to the university on May 1st, within the next week or two, you will start to receive messages from new student programs. And they will put up the schedule, and then you will schedule, we have to obviously control the time and the number of people per day. They will then tell you what days IB has an orientation, and then you can schedule it appropriately. So right now they haven't got a schedule out. They're waiting to get a sense of how many freshmen and also transfers will be arriving next year. So we should find out by mid-May, probably at the latest.
And there's several dates to choose from, so it's not just one orientation. So there's several dates for freshmen and then several dates for transfers.
Yeah, I mean, usually in the past, it's been probably, at least for international business, has at least 7 or 8 dates over the two weeks or so. And so transfer students, you'll see yours at the beginning of August. And again, there'll be several different dates available, at least about 10 or 8 to 10 different days you can choose. All right, another question on chat. I guess nobody wants to tell us or announce in public here their name or anything. All right, can you please describe the alumni network more specifically? How do we connect with them, and what are some of the benefits of it in our career in general? Marcella will take that.
Yeah, so our alumni network, like I mentioned, we have an exclusive group in LinkedIn. So that's how our current students connect with our alumni. So you can directly message them. I've had students, just message an alumni that they think is working for a company that they're interested or doing a job they're interested in, and ask for just, a quick informational interview. And we've seen students get internships or job offers, because our alumni are in that group for a reason. They really want to connect with current students. We also have alumni that come in and talk on campus. So I don't know if we mentioned, we have our own International Business Society. I think John, you might have mentioned it at the very beginning. So that's our own student group. So a lot of our alumni are coming in and talking to our student group. They usually meet once a week. So there's several opportunities throughout the semester to connect with alumni that you find interesting. They're doing careers that you might be interested in. And then, we have several events. We have alumni that will come to campus to visit. So sometimes we'll ask students to meet individually with an alumni. So lots of different ways to connect with our alumni.
Great. All right. Who can we contact about California Promise? I'm not sure what that is. Has anybody heard of that?
I'm sending the link in the chat box.
Oh.
It's under the Division of Academic Engagement and Student Achievement.
All right, David's on top of it. So just you'll see the link in the box. You can just go to that website. That is something separate from the IB program. It's part of the university. So, all right, Christina asks, even if our declared major is not international business, but we want to change major to international business, can we still attend an IB student orientation to choose our classes?
Yes.
Yeah.
When you sign up, we've had this happen in the past where when you sign up for orientation, just make sure that the orientation date you're signing up for includes that we're presenting that day, because we don't present all the days of the freshman orientations. And then you just let new student parent programs know that you'll be changing to international business. So when you do your breakout group, they make sure that you're in part of you're getting our link for the breakout group, which will be, like John said, virtual this time.
Yeah, so the important thing is when you are communicating with new student programs, after they lay out all the dates, to just make it clear to them that you're changing your major and you want to attend an IB student orientation, they will let you do it. And that way you'll get the correct links, because they may not have the links public for each of the academic programs or departments. And we want to make sure you're in ours. If somehow it slips through, you can always contact us, and at some point we can help you with that. But yeah, that's the way you would do it. All right, let's see. I think Irma's just saying thank you. All right, we have another maybe 6 or 7 minutes. If anybody has any questions, just want to just go ahead. I'm going to unmute everybody now. So if you want to I'm going to take my chances here that you can just start talking. Of course, if you have people in the background, be careful. Anybody have a question?
One row, and you're given that, you give it that row. So like here, I knew how to do it.
Looks like I'm going to have to mute everybody again, because we have people who are still talking in a minute. Right, so you can unmute yourself. I didn't keep you from unmuting yourself. So if you have a question, you can type it in. We'll be here for another few minutes. Otherwise, we hope to have learned a lot from this. Okay, Irma's got a quick question here, so let me bring her in. Go ahead, Irma.
Hi again.
Hi.
I wondered if you had any information about alumni and what they're doing now, or if, what the percentage of alumni are working abroad.
Right, I'm going to let Marcella take that. Oh, I got to undo Marcella. Hold on a second. Sorry about that, Marcella. Go ahead.
Sorry, John.
Yeah,
it's a little bit hard to track because obviously this alumni have to tell us. So, how often do alumni complete a survey after they graduate? Since you graduate from us, please answer our surveys. So it is hard to track what percentage are working abroad. As far as what they do, yes, I mentioned a few in the slide that I did, a few of, and we do have kind of a list of alumni that have answered our surveys and told us what they're doing. So we can definitely share a more extensive list with you if you'd like. That's not a problem, but like I mentioned, go ahead.
I would like that, yes.
Perfect.
Just send us an email and to the ib@sdsu.edu, and Marcella will have that directed to her, and then she can communicate some of that information with you.
Of course.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, I got another question here from Min. Is it possible to take IB as a major and a double minor? David, you get that one.
Yeah, so to clarify, there's no IB minor if you're thinking about that. However, you can do IB as a major and do 2 other minors. So for example, you do IB major and you have an honors minor, interdisciplinary, and you have a Spanish minor, for example, or like a finance minor. You can do 2 minors. As long as it fits your time frame and you can get the classes in, you can do it.
Look, we do encourage minors, particularly in other business fields, particularly if you have a passion in something. You're really into marketing, you're really into information systems, and you want to enhance your degree. We will work with you on that. Again, you want to think about a minor as usually adding a semester extra to your graduation. However, if you're coming in with AP units, if you're tested out perhaps with some language, if you take some courses over the summer, and we have a pretty robust offering over the summer, you could actually still finish in 4 years. It's something you would want to work with early on with David. He can help map it out and figure out when to fit those courses in. You can still do it. But again, there's something you want to plan carefully. But just know that it could extend your graduation. So that's something to think about. All right, Aaron's asking, oh, good. Will this be taped and posted to view later? I hope so. I did hit record. It's supposed to record, but yes, I'm pretty sure it did work. It will be up on the Explore website that you linked to from today. We'll also put it on our YouTube page. So if you go to our website, ib.sdsu.edu, you'll see in the upper right all the icons for the various social media. Click on YouTube and you'll find it there. I'll also let you know on YouTube page, we have a lot of different things. We have some student testimonials. So if you want to find out what students are thinking, who are part of the major, who are near graduation, we have 3 or 4 interviews with them. We have interviews with alums. We have recorded IB case competition final teams. So there's a lot of stuff on the YouTube page. Take advantage of that. You learn a little bit more about our program. All right, how easy is it to switch to an IB major from the business school? David, you want to go on that?
Yeah, it's pretty easy. So the business school has 9 pre-major business courses. That actually overlaps with ours. We have 7 of those business courses. As IB, you don't have to do calculus, and then you don't have to do RWS 290. So the switch is pretty easy because you're working on the same thing. The main thing you want to consider and think about is the language. So the business school does not require a language. So you want to make sure in your first semester that you do start taking the language that you want to choose.
Thank you. So we got another minute, a couple, 3-4 minutes if anybody has any more questions. Oh, okay. Can you explain orientation again for me? I'm currently admitted as pre-business administration general. So do I need to look out for the IB orientation date or academic counselor? Okay, so let me explain it again. You're going to get, right now you can't change your major at this moment. So when orientation dates open up, you're going to get a message from new student programs about asking you to sign up for orientation. You communicate with them at that point and say, look, I am changing my major to international business. I would like to attend an IB orientation. And they will then fix that for you and let you and schedule you for us. If somehow you have any problems, you let us know. You can call us or email us. I wouldn't call us because we don't answer the phone as much anymore. Email us. If you're still getting stuck in a pre-business orientation, then email us and we can help work it out. If nothing else, we can find the link and make sure you get to do our orientation. So don't worry about that, but you won't be able to really change the official major until about 6 weeks into the fall semester. But at orientation, what we do is help you set up your courses for whatever region and language that you want to focus on. And of course, get your business courses ready too. All right, so how does IB benefit you if you don't plan on working for large international companies? That's a great question, Marcella.
Yeah, so it's not, the major's not specifically designed to work in a particular field. So we definitely, when I talk to students in their senior year, I tell them to think outside of the box, not think of what you think, international business, sometimes you attach it to import, export, or logistics or things like that. But it's really a versatile degree. We have so many students that work for small companies. Entrepreneurship is very popular. We have students that use this degree to get into law school. So because you are it is interdisciplinary. Yes, there's those business courses you're taking, but you're also taking these language and regional courses that really open you up to you know, jobs that use communication skills and things like that. So don't think that you have to work for a large international company. You can work for a small company. We have a lot of students who start their own companies. Government is popular also. So really you can do just about anything with the degree. I think it's really tying in those professional experiences during your time at SDSU. So internships, what are you involved in on campus? Those two things are what's going to determine what career then you can later pursue.
All right, thank you. Well, we're coming to our end of our presentation here, Di. Let me say one thing before you go. When you're comparing, I know some of you may be comparing IB programs, and I hope that you've learned a little bit more about ours. And one of the things you want to really focus in on, and some of that's comparisons, is of course the length of language. You know, we do require a full proficiency in your foreign language. You're going to see some universities will may only make you take 2 or 3 semesters. So that's something to think about. Another issue is the length of the semester experience, the semester abroad experience. Some universities may let you fulfill that requirement with a short-term summer one, which is okay, but you're not going to get the immersive experience. You're living in that country for months, interacting with students from that place, learning how to navigate that place. So those are a couple things you want to think about when you're kind of comparing different programs. Finally, if you have any questions, you can email us. If you need more information, want to have a virtual appointment, also email us and we will set up a special interview, or try again, a special appointment just for you and your family if necessary. Otherwise, good luck, be safe, and go Aztecs.
Everyone.